Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated.
And welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. Oh, this is going to be so fun. So,
Is it, DJ? When does the fun begin, DJ?
When I say this, year review.
You didn't say this yet.
Oh, all right. This year in review, then.
Thank you. Now the fun has begun.
Oh, what a year it has been. Hey, Professor.
It's been a year. About the same as any other year.
Uh-huh. I mean, we had some interesting things that happened over the last few months. From the world of gaming to the world of movies to anime and comics and obituaries. So let's start with the year in games first.
Okay.
Boy, what a year it was, huh? How many people with the gaming industry kind of on the verge of collapsing and then reforming and then collapsing again?
Yep. It has not been a good year for getting a job in the games industry. Or keeping your job in the games industry.
Uh-huh. Or being part of the games media industry as well.
Yep.
And it's not
especially, well, at least some people have managed to land on their feet, like the Second Wind.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure that was only this year.
Second Wind. No, that was last year. It was launched That was last year.
Well, this disaster's been going on for long enough that I've forgotten.
Fair. One big disaster that I saw was the rise and fall of Concord. Remember that game?
Nobody played it, so nobody remembers it.
Yeah, but how much money was invested on that thing, and how it was a live service game as well.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who spent like nearly a decade working on a game that actually did come out, but only lasted, what was it, a month?
8 days. I thought it was 8 days.
Surely it wasn't that bad.
It was released in July 2024 on PC.
According to Wikipedia, it released in August.
Okay.
And was shut down, 2 weeks actually.
Damn.
So yeah, it's not, I don't know what's more crushing, having something you've worked on for 8 years not come out, or having something you worked on for 8 years come out and be such a flop it lasted 2 weeks.
and then what was remember the other game, Dustborn, and how horrible that game was?
What did you say its name was?
Dustborn.
Oh yeah, I know the name of that one. That's about all I know about that one.
It was basically a PvE game with Guitar Hero style mini games, and it was so bad. Like, it was funded, but it was financially supported by the Norwegian Film Institute, and man, it was just terrible when you look at it.
Yeah, only 48% on OpenCritic.
But besides the layoffs and the horrible games that came out, there were some really interesting mergers and investments that happened as well. Like a Disney company announcing a 1.5 billion investment in Epic Games, for example.
I feel like everyone's invested in Epic Games at this point.
And then we had a couple of closures of gaming studios like Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog Games, Roundhouse Studios, Tango Gameworks.
Yeah, that one was really surprising because their game Hi-Fi Rush was a hit.
Yeah, and then their CEO decided to talk down about, did some really weird word salad about the whole shutdown, to the point where Yong Ye was watching it and went, "What the fuck are you talking about, lady?"
Well, anyway, what was your game of the year?
Oh, game of the year. I haven't played. Okay, full disclosure, I haven't played any, but I have been see Black Myth Wukong will still, to me, it would be the game of the year.
even though you haven't played it.
Yeah, I like watching the cutscenes was just it was just cinematic to watch. It was very nice to watch.
If you want something that's nice to watch, go watch a movie.
But it felt like watching a movie.
Then it's not a game.
And
Games are about interactivity.
escapism.
Yeah, but interactivity is the defining feature of a game. Otherwise, it would just be a movie.
Uh-huh.
So, of the games that you played this year, what is your game of the year?
Okay, I started playing Marvel Rivals, the recent Marvel game, which is basically Overwatch but for Marvel heroes.
There we go, that's a better answer. And since I actually looked into Marvel Rivals,
Yeah.
and I have trouble telling the difference between videos of gameplay of that and videos of gameplay of launch Overwatch.
Oh, okay.
It looks that similar. Similar art style, similar gameplay. So does that technically make it Game of the Year 2016 or whenever Overwatch came out, since it's just Overwatch with Marvel?
Nah, I doubt it.
Well, I'm having trouble deciding on my Game of the Year.
Oh yeah?
It's either Pacific Drive, which is awesome. It's what I'm calling a zone like,
Hmm.
because there doesn't seem to be a good description for these types of games yet. But I count anything like Stalker, Pacific Drive, Shinobolite, basically anything where there's a mundane world and your character goes to explore a zone of weirdness. I call them zone likes. And you can all trace that pedigree for zone likes back to the book Roadside Picnic, which pretty much defined the genre of a mundane world and a zone full of artifacts and strange dangers where the characters go and then return to their lives. And the world is trying to deal with having a chunk of the world closed off by whatever the hell is going on in the zone,
Yeah.
and the artifacts that leak over the border and cause strangeness to happen outside the zone.
Okay. What's the other game that
Well, I just finished describing Pacific Drive
yep.
because it's a survival crafting game
Hmm.
where you are tied integrally to your vehicle. Your vehicle is a type of artifact from the Olympic exclusion zone called a remnant. Apparently, people working in and around the exclusion zone become oddly attached to mundane objects, which begin to exhibit anomalous properties and then vanish. So you're driving around the zone trying to find answers and try to work out what you can do to not vanish, because presumably whatever happens when you vanish is not good for you.
Yep.
And I think it does it so well and differently that it is functionally, well, it's a big standout in its genre. The idea of having your life tied to a vehicle isn't entirely new, but the way the game makes you care about your vehicle, and also the one of my favorite parts is the returning to the garage at the end of each trip to patch up and repair the car,
Hmm.
and then diagnose the quirks. So you can get weird stuff like the headlights turn on every time you close the boot, or when you turn to the left, the horn honks.
So this game is like Death Stranding but with a car instead of a baby.
I suppose you could make that comparison. You are traveling across the zone and collecting loot, and it's also a little bit extraction genre sort of game, because you go into a location, drive around for a while, and collect loot, and then travel back to the garage through a portal. And yeah, I really enjoy these zone-like games, but the way the game made me care about the car is what I think it did in a really special way. My other contender for Game of the Year is Metro Awakening.
Oh yeah, the one that the one that came out a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of months. It was
Okay.
the start of November.
Ah yeah.
It's a VR only Metro game, which is one of my other favorite series. It's self inspired by Stalker, which is a zone like. So I guess there's a bit of a theme here.
You don't say.
Yeah. But it's an origin story for Khan, the wandering mystic you meet in the other games. And my favorite part of the Metro Awakening, apart from the story and exploring the character, because the gameplay is basically just a gameplay of the other Metro games. It's a stealth action game. But one of my favorite things is how physical the weapons are. So a lot of VR games will just have you shove ammo into your gun and it works.
Mm.
But Awakening models every movement of the gun. So you have a Kalishnikov, which is a fairly standard AK type weapon. It's fairly standard. You just jam a magazine in, pull the bolt back, and you're ready to go. But then you get the more exotic homemade weapons,
Ah,
like
okay.
the Shambler, the shotgun. It's a drum mag, I think, or would it be technically a revolver? I'm not a huge expert in types of guns, but to reload the Shambler, you have to twist it around in your hand because the clamps for holding shells go all around the outside of the gun, and as you fire, it rotates and inserts the next shell. So reloading that in the heat of combat is a really intense thing. And I just really like the physicality of that weapon. And they even modeled the mechanisms really well too. Like when you go to cock the Shambler, you grab a hook and pull back, and it has this really cool lever mechanism.
Okay, so this looks like it looks like a shotgun, but not a shotgun at the same time.
Yeah, I think you've actually got the wrong version of the Shambler there. Because the
Okay.
Shambler is a homemade gun, it's it changes from game to game. So I'll grab you a picture of the Shambler from Awakening.
While you're looking for the picture, I was also gonna say with Metro, so does it fill in? Does it fill any gaps as well? Like how the story in terms of the storyline, or is it just
No, it's a side story about Khan,
okay.
or Serdar as he's called at the beginning of the game. But it's almost entirely unrelated to the other Metro games, except for one tie-in where, uh, the prologue is set in Khan Station. I think it was Smolenskaya. No, it was Akademskaya, if I'm pronouncing that even remotely close to right. Which shows up as a DLC for Metro Last Light, where the Khan and the player character in that one, who I think was, I can't remember his name now.
The character it says the character is Serdar, and that's a doctor who must venture into the treacherous Moscow train system. It was described by the team as the origin story for Khan. Uh,
Yeah, I'm thinking of the player character from the DLC for Last Light, though.
yeah.
Omen, I think.
Last light it was Dark Ones, the Rangers, Khan,
Yeah.
Atom.
Yeah, Artyom is the main character, but the DLCs were side stories about the other characters.
Oh,
So
okay.
one of the DLCs is about what other characters were doing while Artyom was going through his story.
Which DLC was it? Just curiously.
A Chronicles Pack DLC, I think.
So it was Khan, Pavel, and Anna.
Okay, it would have been the Khan DLC then.
Yep.
Except you don't play as Khan in that one, you play as Omen,
Okay.
just to confuse things.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Khan is a wandering mystic who basically shows up when people need him to help. He shows up and then disappears again. Anyway, the plot line of Awakening is that you start the game as a doctor, very grounded and secular, and not really religious at all. And as the game progresses, you become more and more religious and you learn to understand the anomalies and the spiritual side of the Metro. And I thought it was interesting that a lot of the events of the story are actually events that happened to Artyom in the book, but were cut from the first game and were retasked to Khan in Awakening.
So it's a very confusing game with even more confusing dynamics. Oh man.
Well, if you're trying to like come up with a canonical timeline for the events that happen across all of the Metro media, don't. That gets confusing fast.
Yep. But in terms of gameplay, so you say gameplay wise it's intense, the story wise it's a good story. Is it replayable? Do you replay it every now and then? Like just go, you know what? I had a rough day at work. I'm gonna try and replay this just for the fun of
Um,
it.
it doesn't have a morality system like the other Metro games do, so there's no alternative endings. I haven't actually gone back to the game since I finished it, but I
Hmm.
did only finish it a month and a half ago. So it's not like I've only had a short time to digest it, work around my feelings for how it went, and then get back into the mood to play it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of work, speaking of jobs and all, briefly discussed about the layoffs and stuff in the gaming industry, but we haven't seen. But a lot of companies this year has done a lot of layoffs. Like Microsoft did a lot of layoffs. Riot Games laid off. Unity, Twitch, and Discord laid off their own staff.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies tried to grow really fast during COVID
Hmm.
because suddenly everyone's stuck at home. The only thing they can use to interact is their computer. So of course the your usage numbers are going through the roof. And a lot of companies made the mistake of thinking that was going to after COVID.
Hmm.
And COVID's not gone. We're just not talking about it anymore because it's not as deadly as it was now that everyone's vaccinated and it's mutated a few times and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think they might have thought that lockdowns would last longer than they did, or that people wouldn't be so quick to go back to the office when the lockdowns ended, and grew really fast, got really big, thinking they would be able to use that, use having to have everyone use that platform,
Yeah.
only to find out that once people went back to the office, they didn't need it anymore, and they don't have a reason to keep on so many employees.
And that is a result, as I said as well. Like you see a lot of studios closing down as well, and that was such a shame. Like Tango, for example, as I said. And then there was Tango Game Studio was one. Arcane, Alpha, Roundhouse. What else was? Ubisoft as well. Well, it's Ubisoft is on the verge of closing.
Oh, yeah, but Ubisoft has a long history of being poorly managed.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people who have been boycotting Ubisoft since 2020 when it came out that they had a really unhealthy work culture and that it basically came from the top. The CEO or president or whatever he's called of the company, I think it's pronounced Yves Guillemot or Guillemot maybe because he's French, was basically a encouraging a really unhealthy work culture, and there was a lot of abuse and harassment going on.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
So I think they're going under for a different reason. They're definitely not helped by the fact that everyone is laying off at the moment, and they probably also tried to grow during COVID. But compared to seeing the indie studios get shut down, I'm not as upset about Ubisoft being run into the ground because hopefully that means that although it's sad that a lot of people will lose their jobs if Ubisoft closed down tomorrow, whatever grows and springs up in its place could have a better work environment where people aren't being harassed.
And now that you say that, it's interesting because is word going around that Tencent might have an interest in buying Ubisoft as well.
Yeah, they've got an interest in buying shares of every big company.
But this year was also the year of big game releases as well. Oh, actually, no. Before I say about the game releases, there was also another significant incident that happened in the gaming industry, and that was the SAG voice actor strike.
Oh yeah, and that's still going on.
Oh yeah. I saw.
They were threatening to strike again just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, just before the on the day of the Game Awards, if I recall.
Yeah. And those strikes are mostly about the
The use of
AI.
AI.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
use of AI and protecting workers who are going to be displaced by AI.
Hmm.
And a big part of that is making sure that you can't be pressured into selling your likeness to a company to have an AI be created of you and be replaced by it.
Yep.
Which sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Ah, damn. But so we had some game releases this year. So we had, as I said, we had Concord that it came out and shut down, and then we had Dustborn that came out and shut down. But we also had like some big games that came out and they thrived well. And like for example, Space Marines 2, for example.
Did that come out or was it just announced?
Space Marines 2. I thought it came out.
I thought it was only announced. I don't remember seeing anything about it actually coming out yet.
Oh, okay. But it was similar to Helldivers, so
Oh, sorry, I'm confusing Space Marine with Space Engineers
ah.
because I'm pretty sure Space Engineers 2 was announced recently.
Ah. Yeah, Space Marine 2 came out and that did well. 2 came out and that's doing very well that's doing well.
Was Helldivers only this year?
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was last year.
The Helldivers 2 came out in February this year.
Okay, not quite a year then. I tell you, I'm getting older. It's all just blending together.
Oh, that's what you get when you're in your dirty 30s. What else came out? Then there was The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, which I still don't get why they had to come out with that one. Tekken 8 came out. Just looking at the list that came of the games that came. Oh, the infamous Skull and Bones game that came out and then shut down.
Wait, that one shut down?
I heard. I don't think I might be wrong. I might be wrong in terms of shutting down, but everyone hated that game if I recall.
No, you can still buy it.
Okay, okay, I stand corrected then. Star Wars, the new Star Wars game that came out as well.
Which one? Jedi Survivor or
Uh,
what was it called? Outlaw?
yeah, Outlaw. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Jedi Survivor was a this year game.
yeah. Jedi Survivor was a September game, and Outlaw was I think a November game.
Okay, late last year, actually.
Okay.
Star Wars Outlaws was definitely a this year game though.
Yeah, and then there was Indiana Jones as well.
That one is doing really well.
Yeah, yeah.
I was worried it was going to be another cash grab licensed game, but everything I've seen from it, it's basically Dishonored, but you're an archaeologist.
And then there's the infamous Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Boy, how terrible was that game?
No idea. I haven't followed that one.
Oh, the art style was just absolutely terrible to look at. The dialogue just felt, what the hell? What the hell am I watching?
Well, apparently you hate it, but it's not that badly hated because it's still got a 69% on OpenCritic.
Okay,
And
okay.
it scored pretty highly from the actual critics. Actually, looking at that again, the player rating is only 40. The critic average is 80.
Yeah, this is why I don't really follow the critics. Just
No,
follow
I
what the
mostly follow YouTubers who play the games that I'm interested in.
This year was also an interesting year for remasters as well.
Yeah, I don't count them as like game of the year material.
I just saw the Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered, and that's getting a lot of good reviews on that one. There was also a lot of expansions that came out this year as well, like Diablo, like Diablo, the Vessel of Hatred, Diablo 4, and then there was and then Silent Hill also came out with their own remaster. Fighting games did well this year as well. We had Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and Tekken.
Well, we've been talking about games for long enough, DJ. So how about we talk about our next topic?
So, our next topic, this year in movies. Oh boy, what a year! What a crazy year it was.
June 2 movie of the year every year.
Really?
Yes. It
um.
might also be the only movie I saw in cinemas this year.
Yep. Yep, that's fair. That's fair.
I cannot remember actually seeing any other movie in cinemas this year. So I don't have the biggest
This year was a really weird year for movies as well. In terms of you had sequels not doing that well, and some sequels doing really well. Like sequels that were not doing well, for example, was like Venom: The Last Dance, for example, the infamous Joker #2. Ugh.
too much singing for you.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah, I'm not
music.
a fan of musicals either.
Although
That's
Wicked,
all I know about it. All I know is that they have Lady Gaga and it's a music.
Wicked did well this year.
Yeah, that's another part one.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
a it's an hour-long musical. How can they make it into a two-part story?
Although a couple of sequels have done well though, like Deadpool and Wolverine did well. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire did well.
I'm seeing a bit of a trend here.
Yeah,
The examples you've given me so far, direct sequels have flopped, but movies that are part of the franchise but are
direct
telling
sequels.
their own story are doing better.
No, Deadpool and Wolverine was a direct sequel.
Was it okay? I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
Same with Godzilla X Kong. That was
Gorilla,
a
Gorilla
Gorilla.
Kong, Donkey Kong's big brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was also a direct sequel. Dune 2 did well as well, but Marvel
Yeah,
also, even though Marvel like those two, Deadpool and Wolverine did well. Marvel this year did absolutely bad this year in terms of some of the stuff that came out. For example, Madam Web. How horrible was that movie?
yeah. Maybe we're finally getting over superheroes.
Uh-huh. Maybe. Just maybe.
You're gonna be the one that saves me. I know I shouldn't sing.
Uh-huh. Don't quit your day job, Professor. Please don't quit your day job. What else was there on this year also we seen a lot of big deaths in the movie industry as well.
Examples?
James Earl Jones, for example, and that death was very tragic. I'm just through the big list of who's died. John Landau, Donald Sutherland. Who else? Damn, so many people have died. Morgan Spurlock from the guy who made Super Size Me.
Yeah, like turns out that McDonald's isn't great for you,
Yeah.
but most of the issues he was having are because he was a functioning alcoholic.
Ah. Then also this year was infamous for the Hollywood strike as well. And man, that was a big that destroyed a lot of productions and stuff in the process.
And there go the hoons again. You can hear them just ripping up and down my street. I try
Yeah.
to edit it out of the audio, but and mute myself and stuff, but you can hear them sometimes.
Uh-huh. Oh, also a very big death I think that I forgot to mention. Akira Toriyama as well. Creator of Dragon Ball Z. Well, the Dragon Ball franchise, but yes, man, he died as well. But what else happened on in terms of there was also this was the year when Star Wars did not do well in the on the media landscape as well. Remember when the Acolyte came out and everybody hated that show.
I feel like it hasn't been doing well for the last couple of years. It was around the time of the third movie in the new trilogy that started to really flop. And maybe we'll see a Disney moving away from a purely Marvel and Star Wars and live action remake offering and actually make some new content for once.
Yeah, this was the year when streaming services as well. They struggled a lot this year in terms of content. Like there wasn't much worthwhile content for streaming services.
Yeah, is it that or are we just getting burnt out?
Uh I would say we're getting burnt out as well, but at the same time there were some shows that kind of saved it. For example, like X-Men '97 as well. Like there are some nostalgia shows. Also, I forgot to mention this was also the year we saw game adaptations do well.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Apart
Yeah.
from Borderlands.
Apart from Borderlands, like Fallout, the TV series, that was good.
Yeah, there was the Fallout series. Was Mario movie this year?
I think so
No,
too.
no, it must have been last year.
No, it was this year. No, that was last year. Last year. Right, right. The
Yeah.
Super Mario movie.
Okay, that tells you how often I've been to the movies this year.
Yeah, so have I. Arcane did interesting. Arcane was interesting. Like even though the show is sort of divided, but it's still people still love that show. People still love that show.
I'm interested to see the final numbers on Secret Level
Hmm.
because that's only just coming out now, but the first couple of episodes seem to be well received.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea behind it. I haven't watched it because I don't have Amazon and I'm too broke at the moment to do that. But I really like the idea of having a anthology series about games.
Yeah. Although some of the episodes were kind of trippy, like that Pac-Man episode, for example.
I mean, Pac-Man itself is pretty trippy.
And the game
Running
that's
around in dark rooms being chased by ghosts while munching on pills linked to electronic music.
and the game that's gonna come out from that, it's even more hilarious.
Actually, have you ever played first-person Pac-Man?
No.
There's a couple of indie projects which are first-person Pac-Man, and they're quite terrifying. You're running, like, the one that I remember, you run around a maze, and the ghosts glow.
Yeah.
So as you're running around, you see a glow coming around the corner, and you're just like, no, 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 run!
By the way, the Pac-Man episode, it was promotion for the game Shadow Labyrinth.
Okay.
Oh man, but first person Pac-Man, that would just be scary. That would just be scary as hell. Oh my god, run! Run! I see a ghost! Run! Run! And I think we're gonna see a lot more video game adaptations with the recent one Sonic, the recent Sonic movie that's coming out.
Yeah, I am still amazed that Sonic is a bigger franchise than Pokemon movies.
Ha. But this year was also the year of terrible, terrible movie trailers as well, like the infamous Minecraft movie trailer.
Yeah, that one, the later trailers kind of redeemed it.
Yeah, and then there was the infamous and then we finally got the Snow White movie trailer, and boy, that was a terrible movie. Oh yeah, speaking of movies as well, terrible movies. This year was also the year where we saw some of the nostalgic movies coming back, such as The Crow.
Yeah, another nostalgia remake. At least that one flopped.
I saw we were looking. I was looking at I saw your post on the group chat once. And it said like, "Oh, The Crow is just RoboCop for goths."
Yes, I thought that was funny.
But yeah, this year's movie, this year in terms of the movie industry, it was like the games industry. It struggled a lot. It struggled really badly. So I've spoken a lot about what happened in the movies and anime as well. Should we talk about what happened in the world of science and tech?
Yeah, I think my science of the year has to be the new cancer drug that was found in goose poo.
Oh damn! Okay, okay, interesting. Okay, that's gonna be an interesting one. Mine is going to be the release of the Vision Pro. Remember the Apple glasses?
I do, and that wasn't this year.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, that was last year.
No, it came out this year.
That's weird because the first must have been an announcement that was last year then.
Okay.
Because the first result when I searched Vision Pro was a press release from Apple dated the 5th of June 2023.
Yeah, the announcement was 2023. It came available for purchase in China, Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore in June 2024, and Australia July, and UK, South Korea, and the UAE November 15th. But yeah, when that came out, man, it was a lot of people started wearing it 24/7.
By a lot. I don't think you mean a lot.
Yeah.
It was like 5 people because that's the demographic who can afford it.
And then Zuckerberg came out with his response to it.
The MetaQuest Pro.
Yep.
Yeah, people can at least afford a Quest.
And how it destroyed the Apple Vision Pro. He did it and he did it all by himself on a video as well, which I thought that was amazing. This year as well was an interesting year in science and tech with in regards to AI and how it just exploded.
Yeah, it's only been around for a couple of years, but this year it definitely exploded.
Yeah.
And we had all those silly things like Microsoft Recall. I
Oh
still don't
jeez.
understand who the intended audience for that is. Because businesses, like any business I've ever worked in, will be
Hmm.
turning that thing off as soon as possible.
Oh Jesus. This year was also the year of Elon Musk Elon Musk in terms of how he released a couple of robots and they look weird as hell.
Yeah, and they weren't great. They were still being controlled by people.
Yeah,
And it was supposed to be this big deal, but they were not nearly as great as he was hyping them up to be.
the Tesla bots.
Yeah.
Just looking at some of the other stuff that's came out. Oh yeah, how Mpox it became a public health emergency for the second time in 2 years following the spread of the virus in African countries.
Yep. Yet another virus that will probably become a pandemic one day.
Uh-huh. I did talk about Elon Musk's the year of Elon Musk. SpaceX also had some successes in terms of achieving the first return and capture of the Super Heavy booster from Starship, the biggest and most powerful rocket ever to fly.
I enjoyed watching the live stream for that one.
Oh yeah, nice, nice.
It reawakened my love of watching rockets take. And I'm really hoping that now we have a spaceport being built in Queensland,
Hmm.
that one day I'll be able to see one in person.
Oh, that'll be
Because
so
I've
fun.
been to Cape Canaveral just before they launched the last space shuttle.
Yeah.
I think, no, it was a couple of years before that. And I got to see one being put together in the VAB,
Hmm.
but didn't get to see a launch.
Ah. But we also saw this year in terms of science a lot of famous academics passing away as well. Let
Yeah,
me
that
just
happens when people get old.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just looking at some of the list. Damn it, I'm trying to find some scientists that passed away. Dang, I can't find anything. Like the closest thing I can think
You
of is
should have prepared better.
all right, all right.
We've been going for a while, so any
Yeah.
final thoughts, CJ?
2025. It is going to
Yes,
be
what are you looking forward to most?
ooh, it's going to be a fun year in movies. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know it's probably not going to happen for a couple of years,
Hmm.
but I'm really looking forward to June Messiah.
Ha!
That's the only movie I can think of to look forward to at the moment.
Yep, fair enough. Fair enough.
In terms of games I'm looking forward to, I can't actually think of any that I'm looking forward to that haven't released yet.
Hang on a second. So there are some upcoming game releases for January. So there is the Withering Waves, Dynasty Warriors, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC, Virtua Fighter 5, Revo, Spider-Man 2 on the Windows. A lot of games are coming to PC, which is interesting.
Yeah, because consoles these days are just PCs.
Yeah. Civ 7 is coming out on February. Yeah, there's a couple of big games that are coming out. Yeah.
Actually, the game I'm looking forward to coming out most next year is my game.
Your game, eh?
Yeah, I'm making a game. Maybe
Oh,
I'll
very
actually finish this one.
very nice. Very, very
No, I'm
nice.
sitting on a few ideas. I just need to sit down and actually start one.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail on any of them,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I have so many game design documents I've written and not actually made the game for because I can't do art.
Oh, looks
That's
like you might.
what killed my game development startup with my friends. We made a game and then realized, hold on, none of us know how to do art. And then one of us got a job at a real company and it sort of broke us up.
Oh,
Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoying their time that blends together between Christmas and New Year's. Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next year.
Stay happy, stay nerdy, and I'll see you guys in 2025.
In the year 2025.